by simply buying and selling college basketball teams. Now is the time to find those Cinderellas while the odds are high. Jump to the PropSwap app today and be sure to buy a handful of tickets. Cinderella stories happen every year. Don't miss your shot. Download the free PropSwap app today and get started.
South Jersey's play-by-play home for the Eagles,
Touchdown!
Sixers,
That's good!
and Flyers.
Oh, big save by Carter Hart.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station.
The following program is paid for, and the opinions expressed are not those of Town Square Media or station advertisers.
Welcome to the locker room.
Vince Papali, welcome to the locker room.
I can smell it already, Billy. What's happening, buddy?
Ron Hayes, welcome to the locker room with Billy Schwein.
Yeah, hey, Billy, how you doing out there?
Rich Gannon, welcome to the locker room, Rich.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be with you.
Great Bob McElwee, NFL referee.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Craig Berube. Craig, welcome to the locker room.
All right, thanks, Billy.
We have the real Pat Croce in the locker room.
Let me off the bench, Coach.
And now here's your host, Billy Schwein.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back into the locker room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, and Brad Quast right here on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. It's a Sunday morning. It's the weekend, the first weekend of the NCAA basketball tournament is almost in the books, and it's been a very exciting one, Pete.
It sure has. I don't know if, if Gonzaga lost last night, that would have ruined everybody's brackets, I think. But as it stands, Baylor out, right? Kentucky out, some of these big names, Iowa.
My bracket's busted. The Hawkeyes, they let me down, but I don't have a shot to win it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Pete, I'm looking at our bracket. We're the bracket, the
Clearwater,
CBS,
right?
The Clearwater crew.
Our 97.3 group.
I thought my bracket was busted, but I actually moved up a few spots. I'm at number 13.
Well, you
out of like 73 people.
Well, everybody had chalk. Yeah, chalk to win it, right? So everyone's in the same boat. So you're good.
I had Kentucky going all the way to the Elite Eight. All right. Actually, all four of my Final Four teams are in it. All right. I have Gonzaga, UCLA, Auburn, and Arizona.
Okay. You got a shot.
So I got a shot.
You got a shot.
And I have Auburn winning it, Q.
Okay. You got a shot. You're in still.
We get that big 7-2 dude.
You're tied for 13th, according to the standings right now. Yeah. So
I got 32 points. And, I was shocked when I woke up to see that I actually moved up.
Got to fight a chance.
Because I was tied for 17 with like 10 people last night.
Here's an example. Doug Stasic 2, and we know Doug, he's a friend of the show. He's at 6th right now, but he's got Baylor winning the national championship. Or Joey Mellons, I love Joe Benarchik. Joey's tied with you for 13th, right?
Right.
But he's got Kentucky winning the championship.
Doesn't have a shot. He's out.
Out.
They're out.
Yeah, if your championship team is knocked out, then you're out, I'm trying to see who's higher.
All right, so we got we had a great show lined up today. So much to talk about, Q, in the world of sports.
There's a lot.
I mean,
a lot is happening.
NFL, free agency, Major League Baseball. Baseball and football are competing for the headlines. They're turning out to do.
Wait a minute. They're doing what?
Yeah, football's not competing with anybody.
Football's not competing with anybody. We're not competing with anybody. Here we're talking about football in the offseason.
Yeah, but there's been a lot of baseball moves.
Yeah, at least they're playing. That's all that matters.
And by the way, how about Dave Dombrowski? He gets 2 players for the price of Chris Bryant.
Yeah, I mean, that Nick Castellanos deal, did you talk a lot about it yesterday, Billy?
Not a lot. We did talk about it, but, the more and more I look at it, we're going to need all the offensive power we get. The Mets have a pretty good pitching staff.
Yeah, they do.
And the Braves aren't a joke either. They're the favorite to win the East.
I mean, the biggest thing to me out of that Phillies deal is that this is the first time that they've broken the luxury tax.
No, they're still $10 million under.
No, Billy, they've gone over the luxury tax. This deal clears the luxury tax threshold. That's it. Pick up your paper that's a day old.
Philly's luxury tax payroll stands at roughly $220 million, $10 million below the initial threshold.
Well, don't you think they still have people to pay?
Well, just look.
Yes,
I'm reading
that's
right
right.
off the paper.
Yeah, it's in your day and a
So
half
that
old
is-
paper.
As
so
long
therefore
as
it must be
I
true.
mean, people will go out to see him play now. They're going to fill the fans.
Well, like Dave, yesterday, Dave Sherapan, the sportsbook consigliere, said we get the best softball team, beer softball team.
you want to read that sentence
Yeah.
again?
Yeah, it says the Phillies luxury tax payroll stands at roughly $220 million.
Okay.
$10
Now let me
million
read
below-
to you the more
10
modern.
Hold on, $10 million below the initial threshold under the new collective bargaining agreement.
All right. And when is that paper
What's the date
printed?
on the paper?
That was yesterday.
Okay, so now today
They-
it says with the Castellano signing that it'll boost the Phillies payroll to approximately $240 million, $10 million over
Oh,
the
so how did
initial
it- so how did-
luxury tax threshold because you're reading something that's old, like you.
Well, how did it just go up overnight?
Overnight.
What do you mean? How did it go up
Inflation.
overnight?
Inflation.
That article's a day and a half old.
Right, but they didn't sign anybody new since then, did they?
Oh my God!
Pete, they didn't sign anybody new.
His name is Castellanos.
That's taking
$100
that into
million.
consideration right here.
Well, clearly they hadn't because, by the way, my God, $79 million
I'm
to
just
Kyle
saying
Schwarber, and then the Castellanos deal $100 million.
Tax on every dollar over $230 million.
Wow.
Right. There's a 20% surcharge. That is
Can you
correct.
imagine?
And now here's the question. Okay. Because your article there that's old, like you,
And one day old.
has them at 220 million. Now they're at 240. The thing to consider, Billy and Brad, is that if you get to 250, you're at another threshold. Okay.
Oh.
So right now it's 20% surcharge on every dollar until they get to 250 million. If they go to 250 million, then there's going to be another surcharge. Now,
And who gets this surcharge? Who gets the taxes? Goes into the pool? Who gets that?
Yeah, where's
And
that money?
Where's that money go?
Yeah.
Major League Baseball? Like
it goes into
Okay.
into Major League Baseball, and it's a luxury tax, and it goes into like last year. Like, here's the thing: for years in a row, they've always treated the luxury tax like a limbo stick, right? They've always
Okay.
treated it like let's come close but not go over it,
Yeah.
right? Because they weren't going to go over it if they didn't think they legitimately had a shot. But I mean, look, the Mets had never gone over it, but their owner Cohen has deep pockets.
But
So
the Yankees go over, the Dodgers go over. Where does this money go though?
right, the luxury,
It goes
Yeah.
to the league.
right,
The league. Okay,
It goes
just
to the
for
right, and
So
then
here's the thing.
goes
for
to the
hot dogs and beer.
and
Where's
then
it go?
it gets distributed amongst the other teams.
Okay. Okay.
So Mike Gill just texted me, says the Castellano deal happened after the paper was printed.
Yeah, I mean,
See, I
right. I mean, I'm sitting here trying to tell you
all
this,
right, but I'm
you
look,
know,
I'm reading.
and not for nothing. Mike Gill's not even in South Jersey; he's in Florida.
That's because he doesn't want to miss the locker room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know why he doesn't want to miss it? Because
Yeah.
he's like, "What stupid thing is Billy going to say to lead off the show?"
It's
That's
not
in.
stupid. I'm reading it right out of the paper.
Well, then it must be true. My,
Well, I guess
God.
so. Then once again, believe half of what you see and nothing what you hear.
No, I have no problem with you believing something that's off the internet and a little more modern than what you're reading. Like, why would
Well, that
you
was
read dated
yesterday's
material?
Okay.
All right.
Aha, a
All right.
little acquiesce there at the end, Quast.
What?
Okay.
But the big news of the day is
Oh.
St. Peter's.
Yeah,
I mean, what a game!
that's our team.
And like yesterday, yesterday Carlin was saying they had no shot at winning. I
Text
said, yeah, they
message in
do.
609-403-0973.
What do you
By
got?
all means,
What?
text message in. I think the PT might end up WWF slamming Billy this morning.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
It's all
I
in
got,
fun.
I
love the
got
guy.
Quast here.
Yeah, I got his
I got
back.
Quast
I got
here.
his
He's got
back.
my back.
I got
Plus, I'm a-
Billy's getting it from all angles. He's getting taxed. He's getting harassed by you today in the
deservedly
studio.
so. I mean, like,
Huh?
listen, that we
Come
deal
on.
Last week he called me ignorant.
we deal
Oh
in a
my
world.
gosh, I can't believe this.
We deal in a world of facts.
I can't believe this.
FACTS. Now back to your St. Peter's analogy. That's our team, man.
That is
It
That
is.
is our
and
team.
what
That
is
is
so
our
cool?
Cinderella story.
Yeah.
what is so cool about that is the fact that they won the MAC here in Atlantic City.
Watching him, yeah,
Boardwalk
that was
Hall.
fun.
You
That
know,
was fun.
watching them.
So it's like a hometown for us.
Yeah, it's like we're like, and guess what? They play in Philadelphia
yeah.
next week.
Yeah, good for them. And I love seeing guys like shining now on the national stage. And they talked about this after the game last week when they won the championship. That like a guy like Casey Nadefo, who was he was passed over for like league honors. You know,
Right.
I think he was like named second team all league, right? And then, of course, what does he do? He goes out and wins like tournament MVP for St. Peter's. The other thing that blows me away is like the whole school up there in Jersey City is like 2,300 or
Yeah, did you see
3,000.
the disparity?
Yeah,
Did
it's
you
not
see
a
the
real big
disparity
school.
in the size of the population of the student body, the basketball, the money that they spend, the budget from basketball
Yeah.
at Kentucky is like 18
Yeah, it's not. It's
million,
not
and
comparison.
theirs
Yep.
is like I think like 1.6 million.
So like Nadefo had 17 points, 10 rebounds,
Doug
and
Eddard,
and 6 blocks. Eddard, now on Friday night, or what was it? It was Thursday night when they had the upset over Kentucky. Eddard was hilarious because the announcer on TNT, CBS, wherever the game was airing, was basically CBS, I believe, was calling him like Goose from Top Gun because he kind of had like that wavy hair and then like the pencil thin mustache. But if you look at this, guys, on the StreamYard here, you'll see this was the back page of the New York Post the day after. Just look in your monitor there. Right, St. Peter's Day, right? You know, because on St. Patrick's Day on Thursday, it was like All Saints Day, like St. Peter's won, St. Mary's won. You know, I mean, it's just outstanding. That win, 85-79 over Kentucky, is definitely a win for the ages. And like you said, Billy, we feel like we got to see him first.
Yeah,
you know, which
and
is
it's like,
awesome.
and like it's you'd identify with these players. We saw them up close and personal.
Absolutely,
You know,
yeah. It's
you get to know them. It's almost
hometown.
an intimate,
exactly.
way to. You go to the boardwalk hall. There's not a bad seat in the house. You're close to these guys. You get to know them. You know, Pete had an opportunity to interview a bunch of them, and it's just cool pulling for them.
Yeah, me too, 100%. And now
doesn't that make it great?
That's
this
what
tournament.
Yeah,
that's what makes this tournament
that's
great.
what NCAA basketball.
Cinderella is still alive.
Yeah, absolutely still alive. And it doesn't matter, like you point out, doesn't matter the budget. They spend $1.2 million, and Kentucky's $25 million. Whatever that dollar amount is, you can compete in basketball.
Now,
NCAA
did you
basketball.
guys see the video of Michigan, of Juwan Howard comforting the player from the opposing team?
No, I did not
It
see
wasn't
that.
in the Tennessee game. It was in their first tournament game over Colorado State, I believe.
Comforting.
Or maybe, yeah, I mean,
Was it
it might have been in
Longwood. They
Tennessee.
played Longwood.
No, they played Colorado State, and then they played they just beat Tennessee.
Oh, that's right, Michigan. Yeah, Colorado State, and then they beat Tennessee.
Right. But in one of those games, when the game was done, maybe it was the Tennessee kid, but either way, Juwan Howard, here it is right here. It was Kennedy Chandler from Tennessee, and Kennedy Chandler broke down in tears, and Juwan Howard was like giving him a hug and patting him on the head.
Well, at least he's patting on the head, not fighting with him.
That's the point, is that, you know,
he wasn't fighting with him.
There's a lot of people out there that made sure to vilify Juwan Howard, and maybe rightfully so, for what he did in the handshake line. It's nice to see the opposite side of things. And there were people out there on social media yesterday that were saying, like, look, everybody made sure to blow this guy up and make him go viral when he was misbehaving.
Right.
Make sure you point this out
it
too.
out.
And I
Be
think all
consistent.
Philly fans can relate to that.
And of course, then in the 11 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking with the former head coach of the 2002 national basketball champions from the University of Maryland. Gary Williams will join us.
I'm looking forwed to that.
Collingswood graduate, by the way.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
And
that.
by the way,
very
Mike,
much.
everybody knows more than me, right? What place is Mike Gill in?
He's even lower than me.
Where's he?
He's lower than me.
Mr. Know-It-all.
Well, he knows enough to know that
I'm
you're
in
wrong.
I'm in 13th place. So there.
Okay, all right.
For now.
For now.
All right, we got a great show lined up, and of course, the
Gil
11
can't
o'clock-
believe that you didn't mention anything about Claude Giroux getting traded, by the way.
Well, I get so much going on. That's I haven't
right.
got to it yet.
It's hockey.
Like
It's
Prego, it's in there. All right, very good.
All right, the first hour of the locker was powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers, sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. Surety is an industry-wide leader with a team of experts to help you through the entire process, from contract signing to closing, with the shortest center city and every place in between. Surety Title is there for you with 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. My Winter Watchdog. Have you heard of New Jersey's premier vacant home management service, My Winter Watchdog? You know those worrisome thoughts that creep into your mind every time you hear of a storm coming, and the daunting task of driving down to the shore to check on the house, hours of time on the road? Let My Winter Watchdog be your eyes and ears with their 15-point inspection checklist. They offer a full menu of maintenance and improvement services. Owner Debbie McGonigal and her team of property caretakers are professional, licensed, bonded, and insured. So don't let the winter worry you. They'll give your house that lived-in look. That's My Winter Watchdog. Go to mywinterwatchdog.com or give them a call at 267-202 1869. That's 267-202-1869, or send Debbie an email, Debbie@mywinterwatchdog.com. All right, when we return, we'll continue more here with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, and Brad Quast in the locker room on 97.3 ESPN.
Ocean City's real estate market is red hot, and you need an agent that has the knowledge and expertise to help. Contact Ocean City's top agent, Mark Rhymes. Mark
room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Brad Quast. Now, what's so funny? I mean, we only had 11 minutes in the first segment. There was so much going on. I didn't get a chance to say anything about Claude Giroux.
I mean, I'm sitting
because
there.
I'm going to be honest with you. All yesterday was wall-to-wall basketball. I did watch a little Phillies. All right, when I was on the. I love baseball.
Yesterday was all college basketball, but I did watch the Phillies in a totally meaningless first game ever in spring training.
I was horizontal on my couch, right? So that peaceful watching the baseball, right?
It puts you to sleep.
Yeah, that's right. I need to take a little nap for a few minutes.
Little nap.
but I like to hear the crack of the bat and the ball, right? The leather popping.
Yeah.
You can hear the commentary, right?
You're ridiculous.
Why? What's wrong with that?
The commentary. I mean, what's going on?
I
with
enjoy
you?
having baseball in the background when I'm on the couch.
It's like
Well, what did
watching-
you have
watching
on?
golf.
And then I was wall-to-wall basketball.
I was going to say, what did you have
Because I
on
watched
last night when
Michigan State.
the damn captain of the team, and you're supposed to be the hockey
Nah,
guy,
because you know what?
gets traded and you didn't even realize it. And then,
It
nothing,
wasn't on my radar.
you're asking me in the commercial break what the details of the deal are, and I forget to run the damn music because you're asking me what the details of the deal are. Yes, I'm going to WWE slam you today.
Well, guess what, Pete? Like I said, I was into basketball big time. Now I am a hockey guy, but I'm disappointed in the Flyers, and they've. So read the details of the trade because I think the Flyers obviously they got rid of their captain, but Tippett and a first round pick in 24.
Okay, the Flyers.
Plus they lost Bonneman and German.
German, sure.
Whatever his name is.
German. Good Lord. Rubitsov. The Panthers got Claude Giroux, German Rubitsov, and Connor Bonneman, and a 5th round pick in 2024. The big thing, too, is the Flyers have to pay 50% still of his contract. That's how much the Flyers were over the coals, if you will. They get back Owen Tippett, a 1st round pick in 2024, and a 3rd round pick in 2023. And there's a lot of people out there that are ticked off, myself included, but quite frankly, by not moving him when he still had contract left, they really had no choice. So with the no move clause, and Kevin Durso writes about this on our website at 973ESPN.com, Billy, I would urge you to read Kevin's excellent writing, that Florida was where he wanted to go. He didn't want to go to Colorado. He didn't want to go to St. Louis. So he basically said, Florida.
I don't think St. Louis wanted him.
Fine, but he said Florida. That's it. And, Florida, you can't negotiate with somebody when there's only one choice, I mean, there's no real wiggle room, I mean, if you want to blame somebody, don't blame Giroux, blame the GMs. And Kevin writes about this too. Bobby Clark, Paul Holmgren, Ron Hextall, Chuck Fletcher, it was Holmgren who signed Giroux to the 8-year contract extension that featured the no move clause. Right. That put the keys in his hand, and then with a no move clause, what was Hextall supposed to do? Now, Fletcher, I'm a little concerned about here because not for nothing, but he's extended Ristolainen, which I'm okay with to a degree.
I'm okay
but
with
he's got other people that he has to extend as well. And then, you sit there, the Flyers' whole mentality, they think, is that they're not that far away. And I think they're completely far away.
At the end, last year when Fletcher was making all those moves, all right, at the end, everybody was applauding all the moves that he made. Ellis,
right? But everything didn't work.
But
I mean,
I know I'm going to say this. I'm not making excuses, but Q, what's your motto? Can't make the club in the tub. They've had more injuries on this team you can shake a stick at. So is it fair to evaluate Fletcher's moves, Chuck Fletcher's moves, when they have two of the three guys were injured for most of the season? Kevin Hayes was out.
Yeah, but you can evaluate what he has moving forward, and what he did was he signed Rasmus Ristolainen into a 5-year extension for a decent amount of money. That's $5.1 million tied up going forward, and he still has to give a contract extension to Giroux and Farabee starting next season. And so, I mean, it just look, you weren't going to lose him for nothing via free agency. They had to do something, but they were basically over the coals. When Giroux had the keys to the car, basically, and the no trade clause and getting to pick to where he could go, that meant that what they were going to get back.
Paul Holmgren was the real reason why remember they were locked into Voracek too.
Yeah,
his contract.
Paul Holmgren left an imprint on the franchise, and I don't think it's a good one, quite frankly. And there's still some movement. The trade deadline isn't until Monday. Justin Braun is out there; he should get a return. They played Martin Jones the other night. That wasn't an accident. They played Martin Jones in Ottawa. Why? Let's showcase Martin Jones, and maybe somebody will pick him up. Now, I mean, so there's a lot of stuff still to go.
Player, right? When you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle in the puzzle, right? It's tough to make an accurate evaluation of what you have moving forward. It's tough for the general manager.
Yeah. I mean, you have to have all the pieces in place, and then supporting cast is a big thing too, especially with these young athletes. You want to put them around good people, because a lot of times if you don't have the talent around them, they're not able to show their potential or show their ultimate upside. So it's important.
It's a wait and see with Fletch, right?
Kevin Durso writes that if nothing else, the return of the Giroux deal is more of a reality of what the state of the Flyers is and remains after this trade, and the result of years of shortcomings by the organization. They could tap into the potential maybe, and Tippett could turn out to be somebody. Tippett's a bit of a project.
Well, he's 6'1", 207-pound power forward. Like I said, he has a chance to be a big goal scorer if he can get the right pieces in place and moving forward. But the Flyers, I mean, like I said, they're off my radar.
I mean, all the grades, I read The Athletic, all the grades on The Athletic all had the Flyers at C or worse. Comments like Flyers fans are going to hate the return. They should. They would have hated any Giroux deal, but what they wound up getting in return seems even more annoying than anticipated. Maybe the 2024 draft will be deep. I mean, you're basically asking yourself, you got back a lottery ticket, Well,
Tippett, I'm reading here also that Tippett went 15 games without a goal during the course of the season this year so far.
Well, on that Florida team, the Florida team's so talented that he basically fell out of the rotation up there. I mean, my God, Giroux basically went to the hockey's version of the Yankees right now. They're on fire. So he does have a good chance to win a cup down there, and that's what he wanted to do.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, the Claude Giroux era is over. He got his 1,000th game the other day, right? Bobby Clark was there.
The Silver Stick. It was all, it was all
lined up. Did you see that game, Pete?
That one I DVR'd when I was watching the NCAA tournament because it was the first day of March Madness, but I DVR'd it, and then I went back and watched it yesterday morning a little bit. So I went through and watched all the things.
You didn't see that the Bobby Clark thing?
Here's the big thing.
I missed that one on my
football all the time, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Billy, here's the big thing you want to know about that game. They had 18,000 people at that game at the Wells Fargo Center.
That's a switch.
Right.
That's a switch.
Remember,
that's a switch. Guys were there.
Right. It was like 10 tops.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, at least the fans did turn out to make sure that.
I think there's only 18,000 fans that like the Flyers, and they go. Right.
Well, they've been accused of that being like Stepford fans, right?
Yeah.
They go no matter what. They're loyal to a fault, right? And it's only only the people that go to the game that because their TV ratings are low. What's their TV ratings, Pete?
The Flyers? Yeah. I have no idea.
Hockey
probably
ratings
at an all-time low.
Yeah, hockey. Yeah, I mean it's a terrible sport to watch on TV.
It's tough to watch.
Tough to watch on TV.
But like I said, yesterday. This whole week, I've been pumped up with the basketball. And I've been just tuned in. And the Flyers, Pete, I'm sorry, but the Flyers just haven't interested me at all.
Well, I'm not saying that I watched the games or that I was locked into the games or anything like that. What I am saying is that I did notice when the franchise captain got traded, they play at 2:00 today, and it's a TNT game too, which will be interesting. That's always a different flavor. They're home against the Islanders in a Sunday matinee. Will I watch some of that? Yeah, I'll put it in the jump.
2:00 today, right?
2:00 today on TNT. Yeah.
All right. First hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers, sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. Surety is an industry-wide leader with a team of experts to help you through the entire process, from contract signing to closing, with the shortest center city and every place in between. Surety Title is there for you with 15 office locations in New Jersey, PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Friends, let me tell you about Maserati, the main line, located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations and invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including the sporty Ghibli mid-size sedan of the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy of being called a Maserati. Maserati, the mainline, also leads the nation in certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available on the market. Your experience does not end at the point of a sale, as Maserati, the mainline, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at RDS Auto Group at 484-804-4800. That's 484-804-4800, or visit them online anytime at motml.com. All right, when we return, we'll continue more here in the locker room. Pete Thompson, Billy Schwein, Brad Quast on 97.3 ESPN.
Drive to the rim, floater good. It's March Madness
Starting with nonstop flights from Atlantic City International Airport to Cancun, San Juan, and Miami. Book your low-cost flight today by visiting spirit.com.
All right, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schwein. Now, I look at the newspaper, and
we know.
and you guys are all breaking my stones. And look, the Drew story was right here.
Okay.
But in my
top story.
But in my enthusiasm,
in
my excitement for the basketball and baseball, since the Flyers are so piss poor this year, I just overlooked it. I'm sorry.
Hey, listen,
And it was I'm not.
Listen, you don't got to apologize to me. I agree with you.
Right? I mean, I
agree with you.
It is a big story. I mean,
It's probably
and I probably should have given it more. Right, but
fifth,
for
sixth
me,
on the list.
It's like 7 on the list.
7 on the
Right,
list.
Q? I mean, it's like, but being on the radio, you gotta make sure that people get the scoop,
Get full information.
And I apologize, Pete. I was not.
You don't got to apologize. It's fine.
You don't have to apologize to me. It's your show.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. I mean, it's just like I overlooked it.
You have an equal amount of defenders and detractors on the text message board.
Well, you're getting ripped on the text board, aren't you?
I'm getting ripped.
Well, the one guy.
Okay, so one person.
One guy.
All right.
Go.
And in fact, that person has texted back again and said, "I don't have a problem with you trying to correct. Just take it a little easier on you."
Right.
So personal,
Billy,
but
he needs a hug. Billy needs a hug.
I guess
He needs a hug over there.
I mean, look, Joey D texted in and said, "Did you or Brad notice that Billy forgot to wear his black band on his
We
arm
brought it up
today
yesterday.
as a sign of mourning for one of his favorite athletes leaving Philly?" And no, it's not Claude Giroux. It's Alex Singleton. And that's Joey D. 609-403-0973. 609-403-0973. If you'd like to be a part of the show on the text message board.
There are certain guys that just you look at, you makes your blood boil.
Yeah,
you get under your skin.
Were you complaining about him in San Francisco and he scooped and scored and won the game you weren't complaining about him then.
Blind squirrel gets a nut every once in a while.
Yeah, that's right.
That's your take. Okay.
But you know who else was one of those guys? Claude, Montreal Canadian, Boston Bruin. Claude, help me out, Pete.
Julian, the coach?
No.
Bruins and Canadians, and you're saying Claude.
What's his name? There's a few people that get under my skin just looking at him.
Oh, Claude Lemieux.
Lemieux.
My God. I didn't realize you were going back into the 1980s.
Yeah, well, no, but I mean,
Lemieux.
How about Matthew Barnaby?
I mean,
Did he get under your skin just looking at him?
Sure, but Claude Lemieux is the guy that you wanted on your team, but you hated to play against.
Right.
Ask the Detroit Red
How
Wings.
about Ty Domi? There's another guy.
Domi, okay.
Right?
Yep.
You just wanted to punch him in his head.
But on your team,
and then one guy
got
got a chance when he fell into the box, and Ty Domi
Remember
kicked
that?
his
The guy fell into the penalty box.
Yeah, he was leaning on the glass, the glass broke, and then
Do you remember? How about you, Q?
That was
Football. How
great.
about remember Conrad Dobler?
Oh yeah.
There's another guy.
he was a mean SOB.
He was a guy that you just hated, right?
Yep. You hated.
Who else? Give me somebody else.
You want to know
Guys you
pests
hated on
over
your
the
team.
years?
Yeah.
Kenny Linsman was called the Rat for a reason.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
I loved
Keith Jones was a great yapper. I mean, there's guys out there.
Yeah, but he's
Keith
a
Acton
good-looking
was that
guy.
way.
His face didn't piss you off. You know what I mean? I'm talking about you just looked at him, you wanted to hit him.
How about goalies? I mean,
You can't see their
both Hextall and Billy Smith were both goalies that irritated. Billy Smith for the Islanders and the Flyers played the Islanders today. Billy Smith was a guy that wielded his goalie stick like a machete. Like don't skate near him. He's going to whack you on the back of the ankle.
So that leads me to this other thing. Like the other day, Q and I, Mike Carlin, Brad Quast, and I went over to the Maxwell Football Club Awards press conference.
Once again, my invite got lost in the mail.
You were working.
That's true.
I
but,
know you were.
I mean, I at least like to be considered.
That was fun.
We were talking yesterday, Brad, about Brian Dawkins, how cut he was, how intense he was. Like, just he sit at the table and he's intense. The guy, you can feel he exudes intensity.
I grabbed him outside the hall, before, and I go, B-Dog, you can still play. You look like you can still play.
He's 16 years in the NFL. He looked like he still put it on.
And safety, too. That's tough.
But
that's a great career.
And we played the interviews yesterday, but he went on to say that he was like almost like apologetic for his intensity. I said, why would you even think you had to say that? Because in this area, I mean, you're loved. He said, but just in this area. I guess other people outside of our area, they didn't like him, I guess.
Yeah, well, they liked him because because he was one of the best. And I think that the intensity and how he got the game up before he did his little motion.
Right.
Yeah, other opposing fans
Might
don't
not
like
like
that.
that.
No, of course not. They don't like that.
Just like
So,
Hextall banging his stick.
Yeah, they don't like that. So, but in Philly, they love him,
I thought that, and Brian Dawkins is a guy that I was fortunate enough to cover on a regular basis, to be in the locker room, especially in the 2004 season. I was at every Wednesday press conference. I was at every home game. And that to me was something that, I always thought, like, if he didn't go into football, he could have been a preacher.
Yep.
I mean, when he gets going and he has that passion, and you're like, and there were two different people. There was Brian Dawkins off the field, and then on the field, there was Weapon X. And Weapon X, man, you didn't want to get in front of him.
No.
I mean,
I got that impression of him just interviewing him the other day, Pete. He exudes that so much intensity.
I call it like getting frothed up.
But
you know what I mean?
But you have to though. But you have to in every sport. There's your personality off the field, off the court,
right,
off the field,
right,
and then when you get on the
or
field,
off the ice, right,
off the ice, you have to turn it on. I mean, that's just the way it is. And
but
unfortunately, some
guys can't, right?
Some guys can't turn it on off the field, and they cause problems in their personal life.
Okay,
and that's what happens.
So but Brian Dawkins hasn't seemed to be.
No. He does,
but look and then on the other side, the flip side of that, I interviewed Bryce Young, and there's talk about a
meek and mild and not the biggest guy, Pete.
Okay.
And Billy's go, oh my God, he's not a really big guy at all.
Can you imagine if Jordan Davis hit him?
Oh, I know.
If he could catch him.
If he could catch him, right.
But because he walked by us, that guy was a behemoth, man.
Yeah,
6'6",
330. Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's certain guys that you could look at and go athlete immediately, right? Jordan Mailata is in that group. Back when the Eagles had him, King Dunlap. Remember King Dunlap?
Yeah.
I mean, they're just super freakish.
Yeah, they're freaks.
Huge. And then there's other guys. Hockey players fall into that category a lot. If you saw him out of uniform, you have no idea that the person's a professional.
Yeah, but you know what? And here's a good case. Like Craig Berube, back when he played, he was an animal on the ice, right? I mean, you didn't want to mix it up with him. All right, but off the ice, he's the sweetest guy in the world.
Yep. Okay.
Funny personality.
The Canadians are nice guys.
They're nice guys.
They're nice guys.
I used to say,
it's a different breed.
Do you guys
hockey players
subscribe to this or not? I used to say all the time, pick the biggest D in hockey, right? The biggest Richard in hockey, and he's usually nicer than sometimes the nicest person in the other three major sports.
Yeah.
And
they don't have.
I don't know if it's still that way, but it used to be that they were Canadian guys that grew up on the farm with work ethic and polite manners, and
they just don't have the egos,
or all their teeth. But
but Bryce Young, he was like mild mannered, quiet,
very
unassuming,
very humble. Yeah,
talked about his faith and his parents. And when you stand next to him, it's like you thought he'd be a junior in high school. He's not even that big at all.
He does not even shaving
yet.
Here
he is. He played in front of 80,000 people at the national championship game. Millions of people watched on television. Like to see him in
it was interesting. And
the dichotomy between him and Brian Dawkins is like,
and then it was good. And then can you imagine? Did you ask him questions about how he deals with Nick Saban? Can you imagine dealing with that?
No, I didn't ask him that, but we played the interview yesterday, and real nice guy.
Yeah,
I mean, real nice guy. And then of course Jordan Davis goes walking by, and he was just he's huge.
Yeah, he's a man. He's a grown up.
He's probably going to go in the top 5.
Top 5,
right?
Yeah, probably top 5. Yeah, he'll be the first one off the board at that position.
Now the Eagles get. Oh, by the way, Pete, let's get into this. You and I were getting into it on Twitter about Hassan Reddick.
Yes.
All right. I talked to Paul Palmer, who's a good friend of his.
Okay.
Temple, Haddon Heights coach.
You know Boo Boo?
Yeah, I know Boo Boo. Yeah, I know Boo Boo.
Do you?
Yeah.
You know Boo Boo?
Yeah, not as well as you
I
do.
know Boo Boo.
Call him Boo Boo.
Boo Boo.
I don't refer to him as Boo Boo.
Okay, Boo Boo. Boo Boo, Paul Palmer. Oh, yeah.
But we got into it on Twitter.
Okay.
And he said somebody said he's from Camden. I said he is from Camden. He's a Camden native, but he played high school football at Haddon Heights. His father moved to
I never disputed that.
No,
I just said the tweet said, and what I wrote was, Camden native. And you came at me saying he's from Haddon Heights, Haddon Heights.
Well, I want the Colonial Conference to get its just due. The old Colonial.
That's
exactly.
fine. He was born in Camden.
Born in Camden.
Ergo, ... There's three little things at the end of the
Native.
geometry problem.
All right.
Camden native. That's
Bottom line is I want to make sure everybody knows, because even in the newspaper that I get, they said Camden native, said nothing about Haddon Heights.
Yeah.
But that's where he learned. It's where he played high school football.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Exactly.
Billy, there's a style to the newspaper that you love so much, and they usually tend to reference where the person was born.
All right. No, he was born there, but it's, like I said, his dad moved to Haddon Heights when he was a freshman. All right. He lived right across the street from the high school.
Yep.
That's what Boo Boo told me.
Boo Boo. He's got a little boo boo on his calf.
Is that what it
Funny
is?
little- yeah,
I
yeah.
see. You know,
And
Oh,
Billy,
yeah.
I have a viewing tip for you today. Okay. I know you want to watch the college basketball.
I'm watching college basketball. When I get home.
Billy,
All day long.
Let me finish first. I mean, that's fine. Just, talk right over me. This could be the last time. Like, first of all, Tippett is supposed to play today.
Right.
So if you want to see what the Flyers got, you could watch the first period because it's a 20-minute period.
Right.
And then the game you really want to watch, which is Villanova and Ohio State.
240.
I don't think you're going to be locked into Houston, Illinois, are you?
No,
right?
No.
So you're not
But I
even-
won't get home.
you're
I
not
won't
even
make it
gonna be
home until
yet.
1:30.
Right. So that's my point. Watch the first period of the Flyers
All right.
and then flip over to the college basketball.
All right, Pete. That sounds like something.
That's-
something
You
I'll
get
do.
get the
By
best
the
of
way,
both
yesterday
worlds.
was a beautiful day.
It's
Had all the
beautiful today.
windows and doors open in the house.
As you should.
And I had my mom. So my mom's 101, and I had her in her wheelchair, sitting in front of the house.
Yeah.
The sun
Outside,
hit her,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And of course, she falls asleep, and
Okay.
her book fell on the floor. And I had the mailman, people stopping.
Oh, shit.
I'm on the couch trying to, relax
Yeah.
and get horizontal and get, with my clicker. I got
And
baseball.
she's out there.
And she's out there, like, here, slumped over the chair. And I get the
Were
mailman.
they worried you took
and,
her out?
She was like,
That's pretty funny.
she looked like she was
And what was
like,
your answer?
Weekend at Bernie.
You
Oh.
told
Oh, I was in my couch, and I'm like
We
trying
got
to lay.
Bernie.
The doorbell's ringing, and
you tell people she's like a plant. She needs the sun. I put her out in the sun. She needs the sun.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I might go golfing with my boys today.
that'll be
Yeah,
nice.
Are you going to
me-
Great Bay Country Club?
Yeah,
Go see
Great Bay Country Club.
Radio Ron
Radio
Ralston?
Ron, are you listening? Like, we're coming down. No, but gonna go grab lunch after the show and go see Zach and Shane.
So
Beautiful.
Pete,
Beautiful.
not to jump all over the place, but I did allude to it about Chuck Fletcher when he made all those moves entering last spring.
Sure.
Now Dave Dombrowski, he's doing the same thing, making moves and signing people.
yes.
I know Bryce Harper's is prodding him and is kind of pushing him, but Dave Dombrowski has got cred. I mean, he's built championship teams.
Correct. And Dave Dombrowski is really good at whispering into owners' ears and telling them this is what we need. This is what we need. And, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that never thought that they'd be able to get a guy like Castellanos in addition to Schwarber. So, I mean, to get both of those, that is, Scott Lauber wrote it this way. He said the Phillies got Nick Castellanos for a $100 million deal. It's 2 nights after they signed Kyle Schwarber. It's a stunning wallet flex by owner John Middleton. And that's true. I mean, the guy's putting his money where his mouth is. I think their defense is going to be terrible, and I have no idea if their pitching is going to be great, but they're sure going to put up more runs.
And baseball, listen, it comes down to pitching, right? Defense and pitching, Pete, that's what it comes down to.
Pitching and defense,
pitching.
Yes.
And
You got to have the arms.
as a former player, right, when you see that the front office is all in, what's that do for the psyche of the team?
Well, they love that. I mean, the players, I think, play a little harder. They feel like they
work out a little harder in the
offseason,
offseason, right?
Like, man, these guys really want to win it just as bad as we do. Because a lot of the players in owners, they don't see eye to eye, and they just know that they're trying to make money as ownership. And players, that's the worst thing you want to see.
So when you see that Dombrowski or a Fletcher making moves and
you're
trying to get better, you get excited.
You got a little bit, get up in your step, and that's what you need. You see that in the spring, and when they come back and they break camp, I think they're going to be.
So I'm glad Pete just told me what for my viewing.
Oh, see that
because I would have gone. I would have rushed home. I got taking care of some things, maybe had a little lunch, and then I would have probably completely missed the Flyers.
Yeah,
I mean, you might.
How about as a hockey guy? It's not even on my. It's not even my radar.
I totally understand that. That's kind of how I was, and don't forget the Sixers play tonight too. By the way, they're home again. It's a double. If you're on the arena crew up at the Wells Fargo Center, you got a busy day today.
Busy day.
You got the ice down for the
overtime.
2:00 game, and then you got a changeroo, and it's Sixers Toronto at 8:30
Have you seen
tonight.
that process?
Yes, I
It
have.
is pretty cool. I've seen
I've
that
never
process.
seen. You've seen it
I've
live
seen
in
it.
person?
Yeah. I've stuck around and seen it.
Is that right?
Evolve from hockey to basketball. Yeah, it's cool.
I wonder how do they keep the wood from not like the hard? Like,
There's
the wood
a
surface?
product. Okay, now I'm going to speak in terms you understand. Remember the
Thanks, Pete.
remember the Mick DLT?
I remember. I am college educated.
Kept the cold side cold and the hot side hot.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
That box. Was it the
Yeah,
box?
the Mick DLT.
Yeah,
Keep the cold side cold and the
yeah.
hot
Oh,
side
yeah,
hot.
such a flop.
There's a
that's right,
product
that's right.
called Homosote, and that basically it looks like
Stops
cardboard.
the condensation from
It's
building.
basically you put that right on top of the ice. All
Right,
right.
okay.
And that keeps the cold side cold. And then you can lay the floor on top of the Homosote, and then the hot side is up
How
top.
about this? 2 old beef patties, sauce later.
Oh my
gosh!
gosh. I mentioned one McDonald's reference, and all you know. And by the
That's
way,
what comes to my mind.
I eat McDonald's every day. I love it.
Oh,
You do. Look, you're in good shape.
Oh boy.
How about that?
Genetics.
You said
Genetics.
McDonald's. It's the first thing that came to my head.
Genetics.
Plus, I sing the Oscar Mayer song to my daughter all
boy.
the time.
that sounds good.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll bring that around sometime and they'll let you drive that bus.
Pete,
Yeah.
it's officially out of control.
It's out of control. I'm trying my best over here, but
And you know what? I'm like the first hour. It's like 10:44. I still wanted to talk a lot about St. Peter.
Oh, I know. It's officially out of control.
Right,
Yeah.
Pete?
what else do you want to know? We talked a little bit about them.
A
We can
little
talk
bit.
more.
Well,
Sure.
you guys made me go to Flyers.
Let's go. Let's get
First
St.
of all,
Pete's.
you know better than anybody. We don't make you go anywhere. It's your show.
All right, this is the first hour of the locker was powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers, sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. From the shore to Center City and every place in between, Surety Title is there for you. 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Just about everybody in our area has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine run by ex-Philadelphia tight end Ken Dunnick. But were you aware of their private business network they call the Legacy Club? Every month they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia, South Jersey to attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and see it's a fit for your business, send an email to ken@jerseymanmagazine.com or give them a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. By the way, Q, I think Tuesday we got another what are you doing Tuesday night, Q?
This week, I appreciate the invite.
All right,
That's
make sure I
fine.
get it out there.
Yeah,
Jersey
very
Man?
nice.
We're going
Yeah.
to I think it's the Parks Casino.
Ask me about the next one.
When is
because
it? Where's that, Jersey Man?
That does remind me. We want to talk about the ACJFL banquet. That's
right.
coming
We'll
up
do
this
that.
week.
On the other side, we'll do that.
Sounds good.
All right, when we return, Pete Thompson, Billy Schwein, Brad Quast, right here on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers basketball tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN.
Matt Black Kia.
Offers with approved Tier 1 or 2 credit through Kia Motors Finance. Not all will qualify. $17.05 per 1,000 for 60 months. 1,000 off all 2022 stickers. Go to mattblackkianj.com for complete details. Expires 4/6/2022. Matt Black Kia. 6211 on the Black Horse Pike. Egg Harbor Township. And now on Route 37 in Tums River.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Brad Quast, 97.3 ESPN, the locker room, Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Pete, what do you got going on this week? Or you got what is it, next Saturday or next Friday?
It's this coming Friday.
Yeah.
So, and first and foremost, don't forget, everybody, that we're going to have former Maryland basketball coach Gary Williams joining the show on the other side at the top of the hour at 11 o'clock. So you want to keep it tuned for that here on the locker room on 97.3 ESPN. Billy, I appreciate the chance to talk a little bit about the Atlantic County Junior Football League. The 65th year celebration is going to happen on Friday, March 25th. That's this coming Friday at Bally's AC. And this is kind of a one-off, guys. This is one league for one night. And basically, in 1957, they had 10 municipalities, and then last January 2021, they sat down and said, you know what, we've never really done anything to celebrate the history of this league. And, AJ Russo won a championship with the Ventnor Pirates, and then Holy Spirit led them to a state championship in 2019. Frank Fuciciola was with the Hamilton Hawks. He led St. Augustine and then Williamstown to state championships. Ed Johnson, the official for over 40 years. There's going to be a cheerleader representative honored as well. And then just listen to the who's who. Wayne Coleman from the Ventnor Pirates, Saints, Eagles. Dino Hall, Pleasantville Tornadoes, Cleveland Browns. John Stone and Dave Klemick, they're almost like a pair, right? Summers Point Sharks. Klemick, the Chiefs. Stone, the Raiders. Mike Curcio, Eagles, Green Bay Packers. Abdullah Anderson still in the league. Galloway, Renegades. Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers. Joe Callahan, right? That's just players, okay? Yeah. Then on the front office side, I know you know Terry Bradway there, Quast, right? GM of the Jets at one point, Tommy Bradway, Brent Caprio, Greg Roman, the current offensive coordinator of the Ravens, will be there. ACJFLcelebration.com.
All right, there you go. Nice. First hour in the books. On the other side, Gary Williams, 2002 National Championship basketball coach, right here in the locker room with Billy Schwein.
South Jersey Advanced Health Solutions, South Jersey's premier clinic for allergy elimination and Lyme disease.
just dogs, but smaller, so what?
But even those who aren't easily moved
Look, your long-lost brother's been found.
Oh, hi, Mike.
can be moved by us. Yeah, we're that good.
Use Clark's Moving and Storage in Rio Grande for your next local or long-distance move. Visit Clark's Moving and Storage online at clarksmoving.net.
With all the sports we have, every time of the year is the best time of the year.
Step back, three-point shot in the air, bang, it's good. James Harden for three.
On 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station.
Red 83!
Welcome to the locker room.
Vince Papali, welcome to the locker room.
I can smell it already, Billy. What's happening, buddy?
Von Hayes, welcome to the locker room with Billy Schwein.
Yeah, hey, Billy, how you doing out there?
Rich Gannon, welcome to the locker room, Rich.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be with
Great Bob McElwee, NFL referee.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Craig Berube. Craig, welcome to the locker room.
All right, thanks, Billy.
We have the real Pat Croce in the locker room.
Let me off the bench, Coach.
And now here's your host, Billy Schwein.
All right, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, and Brad Quast right here on 97.3 ESPN. It's tournament time, and what a great week it's been. 3 days of basketball, and I thought to myself, I gotta get my first guest on. He's a Collingswood graduate,
Collingswood
2002 national championship, the Maryland Terrapins. Let's go to the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline, and welcome into the locker room, Coach Gary Williams. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning, Billy. Good to talk to somebody from Collingswood again.
Yes, CHS. And by the way, Coach Williams, how about the Engelbert? Kathy Engelbert is now the commissioner of the WNBA. Collingswood.
How about that, huh?
Yeah.
So some of us did okay.
yes, you did. Some of us didn't.
Some of us are hosting weekend radio shows.
Some of this guy's just a weekend radio guy. Coach, I thought about you because, first of all, you graduated Collingswood, but you won the national championship, and of course the NBA or the NCAA tournament is now in full swing, and it's such a fun time of the year. I'm old school. I got my printed out bracket that I carry around with me, but it's such a great time of year.
It really is, and I think you really capture so many more fans. The casual fans really get into this, and obviously the gambling element's always been there. Every company I've ever seen has their own pool with their employees, whatever. And, it's just a great thing that kind of unites the country a little bit for 3 weeks.
Coach, take us back to your 2002 run when you won the national championship. How hard is it? People don't realize how hard it is. I mean, do you coach tighter in these one single elimination tournaments? I mean, talk us through that. Like, what's the experience like going into a game knowing if you lose, you go home?
Yeah, you feel that pressure. I mean, first of all, you're glad to be in the tournament because it looks like it's easy to make the tournament, but there's 352 to, I guess, 57 now, 357 Division I schools, and it's just difficult to make the tournament. And then when you make it, you're excited about that. And maybe if you have a high seed, you might have an easy game that first game. But after that, in other words, when we won in 2002, we played Wisconsin, Kentucky, Connecticut, Kansas, and Indiana to win it. So they were all blue bloods, and if you have one guy that maybe sprained his ankle the day before in practice or whatever, you're not going to win those games. Everything has to go right for you to have the chance to win it, and then you have to play well. If you just have one of those games where you don't play well, you go home because the other team's that good.
Well, the big basketball story so far is St. Peter's upsetting Kentucky and then beating Murray last night. That's got to be pretty exciting for not only the school but the whole basketball community, seeing Cinderella still dancing.
You look at Kentucky and you look at St. Peter's, and you just go right down the line. Budgets, the place they play at, the size of their teams, the the notoriety of the Kentucky players versus the St. Peter's players. I defy anyone outside of the St. Peter's area in New Jersey to name a starter on the St. Peter's team, for instance. You know, and it's incredible that basketball is that type of game that for 40 minutes, if you do everything right and the other team doesn't play particularly well. And then the other thing I think you're seeing in the tournament, there's not the respect that teams used to have for each other. In other words, I guarantee you nobody on Kentucky ever heard of St. Peter's or, you know, whatever. And so they went in there probably trying to see how hard they had to play to win the game. And all of a sudden you give a team like St. Peter's confidence in that situation. And if they can take it to halftime, they think they can win by the time they get into that locker room at halftime if they've played well against Kentucky. And that's, I'm sure, what happened. You know, they just assumed they were going to win the game in the second half after what they did the first half.
A true David and Goliath story. Coach, the players on St. Peter's, they all, I would imagine, and I think one of the coaches even alluded to this, that those guys all think they can play for like a bigger Division I school like Kentucky or Maryland or in Indiana.
Yeah, if you get the right guys, they go into that Kentucky game with a big chip on their shoulder, like nobody gave them a chance. They were 20-point underdogs or something like that. You know, they just get tired of hearing all the crap, you know, about they're not good enough. You know, you're a mid-major instead of one of the major powers. And look out, you know, if you're not ready to play and you're the Kentucky, you can be in trouble in that game.
Gary Williams is with us, the former Maryland coach, now special assistant to the athletic director of Maryland, as he joins us on the Maserati, the Mainline hotline. This is Pete Thompson, Coach, and I spoke to you off air a little bit about my dad's history with Maryland. He's UMD 65, Cole Fieldhouse, before we went all corporate and got a bigger building. A lot of history there, right? Could you speak a little bit about what makes Maryland special, number one, and did they lose any of that by leaving the ACC?
Well, Cole Fieldhouse, first of all, was probably the best on-campus arena for a long time. They had 2 Final Fours there. They had several regional tournaments there because it set, you could seat 15,000 people, and it was a great on-campus facility. And really, nobody else, maybe Kansas, a couple other places had places like that. But Cole was really special, and it was a great old building. We moved the year we won the championship in 2002 was our last year in Cole, and you know that place would get to be 100 degrees at halftime in January, and we won a lot of games just based on the fact we were used to the heat and the other teams weren't. You know, it was a great home court, and the fans were right on top of you. It was like a bowl. It was all one level. There was nothing to obstruct anybody's view. So it was a great place to play. But you know, it was an old building. It would have taken probably $70 million. It was a huge building, just to get rid of the asbestos and everything that was in that building when it was built in the 50s. So it is now. It was Comcast. Now it's Xfinity Center is the new place, and it is, you know, your typical 19,000 seat, beautiful place. It's still on campus. It's in a different part of campus, but it's really a beautiful place. And when you get the crowd in there, it's really a good home court. But Cole was special because the fans are so close to the court, and the students all. We had 4,000 students sitting behind us every game. Yeah. That's what they allocated to the students. So it was different. It was special, but certainly Xfinity's a great place to play basketball too.
And then the second part of that question was about the ACC versus the Big Ten.
Oh yeah, well, that was strictly a financial move, to be honest. 2014, our athletic department was in debt. Football only has a 50,000 seat stadium, and you know you can't make the money, especially then. So the Big Ten, their offer was incredible compared to what Maryland was making in the ACC, and the Big Ten network certainly has a lot to do with what the payouts are, and it's, you know, just a completely different football conference than what the ACC was. The tradition in the Big Ten is, you know, with Michigan State, Penn State, Wisconsin, teams like that, but they're tough to compete against, and I think it's made the Maryland football job a tougher job. Basketball-wise, the ACC was great, but really the ACC had changed. They expanded. They took Syracuse, Louisville, you know, whatever. They were up to 13, 14 teams. And for our fans, really what they looked at as the ACC was our games every year, the 2 with Carolina and the 2 with Duke. They were just incredible, great games to compete in, and our fans love that, and that's what they miss. Because certainly the Big Ten has great basketball teams too. I mean, they had 9 teams in the tournament this year, and so it takes a while, to develop those rivalries once again. But I think it'll happen. But people miss, that they don't like change. Most people don't like change, and going to the Big Ten was a big change for Maryland fans.
Coach, Brad Quast here. I'm a former Hawkeye, so I'm a Big Tenner. But I wanted to ask you,
football player, by the way.
Yeah, football at Iowa for Hayden Fry. But Coach, you did such a great job in your championship run. Explain the psyche and how you get the kids ready and to have back-to-back games and 3 games within a week or so, and just to keep them grounded and to keep them focused. Because that seems to be the big thing, to have the players bounce back and play. You're a higher seed coming out and playing a 15 or 14 seed
no
type thing.
letdown.
No letdown. How do you keep those kids up for the entire tournament?
Well, I think we learned a lot in 2001. We got to the Final Four, but we had a 20-point lead against Duke in the semifinals there at the Final Four and lost the game. But I think we found out what it was like in that, especially the championship week, because the media is just it's nothing like anybody's ever experienced until you experience it. And we had to go through that. We had most of those guys back, so we knew how to handle that. Plus, the players. They realize the focus necessary. The tough focus is, the first game you have time to prepare on a weekend in the NCAA. That second game, you only have 24 hours at the most to get ready. So your players really have to do a good job of walking through stuff, of not being too happy that you won the night before, and just, okay, that's history. Now we've got to worry about this team. And our guys really did a good job of that. I think we were really ready to go in every game we played, and that's not easy because they're 18 to 22 years old. Everybody likes to be told how good they were after you won the last game, and you have to be a little ugly sometimes as a head coach to make sure the players understand that this is what counts. This next game, you have to win this game. And the other thing is you take it a game at a time. You can't look ahead and say, oh, gee, we have to play Carolina and Kansas if we win this game. Can't worry about that. That'll be there for you, and you have to convince the players of that also.
We're talking with former Maryland coach Gary Williams, 2-time ACC Coach of the Year, inducted to the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2014, and another great coach is stepping down, Coach K from Duke. You had some great competitions against him. Talk to us a little bit about Coach K.
Yeah, I counted up the other day. We played against each other 49 times.
Wow.
While I was in the ACC. I won't give you the winning percentage Coach K has.
Please.
Let's put it this way. We won a few. But he is, to me, the modern day, I guess John Wooden would be the one person you might make comparisons with, because Wooden won, I think, 10 or 11 championships. But it was different back then. You had 16 teams in the NCAA tournament. You stayed in your region your first 2 games, and then you went to the Final Four if you won that. Now, Kay, since they've expanded to 64, now 68 teams, you've had to play 6 games. And so what he's done, he's been consistent. He's a great recruiter. I don't think he gets enough credit for the players he brings in there. But if you saw that game where they brought all the players back for Kay's last
96, 96.
I mean, look who's out there on the court, Leitner, Grant Hill, Hurley, guys like that, just tremendous players. And, that's even today. They play Michigan State, and, they have probably 4 first-round picks that'll be out there on the floor today, and they're that good. But he coaches them too, and he makes them play. And, so in my mind, he's the best. He's probably the best ever to do it.
And, of course, in our area, Coach Jay Wright, the Villanova Wildcats, I mean, I'm sure Coach Wright real well. He's done such an excellent job, and, he's with the Villanova Wildcats. I mean, he coaches is like the next – I guess like the next great legendary coach is still coaching. The era of coaches staying in one spot for a long time is kind of fading away.
Yeah, Jay has really been smart he's had plenty of offers to go to the NBA or other colleges, I'm sure. And he's really smart. He's established at Villanova what every coach would like to establish. It's not just a basketball program, but it's a program that really helps Villanova. It's just Villanova's always been a good school, but it's expanded people's view of Villanova, the exposure that Villanova gets from their basketball program. And Jay does it the right way. And he still teaches fundamentals. For the basketball people, his 2-foot stop that he does when the guy closes it at the end of his dribble is just a great way for players to maximize their offensive potential. And, every player that comes through Villanova seems to be able to learn that, and they do a great job and they work hard. And Jay does it the right way. So it's great to see Villanova's success.
Gary Williams with us, the former Maryland coach and special assistant to the AD now at the University of Maryland. And I'll wrap up with this, Coach. You're talking about Cole Fieldhouse and your memories there. And, of course, in the shadow of Philly, we think of the Palestra and the special memories there, Butler and their Fieldhouse, Kansas you mentioned. I'll just say this. At 20 years old, as a Temple student, I went to watch Temple in the NCAA first and second round in 1991 at Cole Fieldhouse. And as I walked around there as a member of the quote-unquote media, Temple had their game. I think they played Drexel, if I'm not mistaken, to start things off that year, which was one of those NCAA ha-has. There you go. But one of the games was this Richmond team, Dick Tarrant, against Syracuse, the first time ever that a 15 beat a 2. And, me being wet behind the ears, I go into the post-game press conference and they bring the microphone over to me and I said, Peter Thompson, Temple News, Billy Owens, are you going pro?
Wow.
Like, what a dumbass I was, right?
It's like, I was there. That was my first year coaching at Maryland, and I went to that, and that was a shocker when Syracuse beat Richmond. And Dick Tarrant, he's one of those coaches that, not a lot of people know about, but he was a great X&O guy. And, didn't have a real outgoing personality or anything like that, like a lot of coaches do today. But, man, could he coach. And, he went after Boeheim's 2-3 zone, and he cut it up pretty good. And not many, teams have ever done that to Syracuse. And, Jim is a good friend of mine. We coached together in the Big East when I was at BC, and he was at Syracuse. And he's kind of funny after he loses, and I enjoy the press conferences.
Somehow I lived asking that question as the very first one.
I mean,
once you do it,
so it couldn't have been that bad.
Right? What you do at 20, that you're not going to do at 51, right?
Listen, Coach, we really
you still would do it. And that's a great question. That was legit.
Coach, listen, we really appreciate you taking time to join the locker room today with us and talk a little basketball. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of the day watching the NCAA tournament. And CHS, thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you guys. Anytime. Appreciate having me on.
All right, there
Take
he
care.
is. Nice. Coach Gary Williams on the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline. Collingswood High School, baby.
It's great.
Putting them out.
A national championship.
Yeah.
That's special, man.
That was
special.
funny in the beginning of the interview.
Special.
He made it, but I'm just doing a radio show. But how about that, Kathy Engelberg? She's
that's nice too.
Of the NBA, WNBA.
And he's right. Like, they don't make buildings like Cole Fieldhouse anymore. They don't. Obviously, the Palestra, Butler, and Allen Fieldhouse.
It's all corporate now, and it's just not the same.
But that's also why I brought up.
That's funny that he talked about how hot it would get in there, and then the other teams, like, they were used to it, but the other teams were like sucking wind,
And that's why I asked about Jay Wright, because you see Coach K leaving. There's not too many coaches that are going to be. Like, the coach that sticks around for 48 years is going to be.
Well, I'm glad he mentioned Boeheim, because that's one of the guys that's still a legacy guy. Yeah, but you're right. The number of legacy guys, Tom Izzo, right? Okay. So two coaches are going to do it today. Tom Izzo and Krzyzewski, right? Boeheim is another one. There's 3. Who else is out there? That's
a guy from West Virginia's been around.
Bob Huggins has been around a long time, but he hasn't been in the same place all the time. So is he a legendary coach? Yes, but he hasn't been in that same place all the time.
I think
who's Sean Miller?
Yeah, he's been around. But I think it's different because with basketball, you win 17, 18, 19 games, and then you get the tournament because your ultimate goal in basketball is to get into the tournament, right?
Get into the dance.
Yeah, into the dance. So these guys do it every year. So you really can't, unless you really screw up. You got a job and you recruit.
Well,
like
if you're
football, you got to go.
It's hard to be consistent, though.
Ed Cooley is the Providence coach.
Yeah,
I blurted out the wrong name.
And he's been around for a little while. I mean,
He has, but I don't know that I'd call him a legacy coach.
Yeah, all right. I'm just off the top of my head.
It is amazing how these guys have been there that long.
All right. For second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. You can play on their 18-hole championship golf course, enjoy fine dining, experience that lively atmosphere in the pub. There's a full calendar of golf and social events throughout the season to appeal to everyone. For more information, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. When you get down there, say hello to Radio Ron Ralston, Kevin Kelly down there. They always have a smile on their face. My Winter Watchdog.
Oh.
Have you heard of New Jersey's premier vacant home management service, My Winter Watchdog? You know those worrisome thoughts that creep into your mind every time you hear of a storm coming and the daunting task of driving down to the shore to check on the house, hours of time on the road. Let My Winter Watchdog be your eyes and ears with their 15-point inspection checklist. They offer a full menu of maintenance and improvement services. Owner Debbie McGonigal and her team of property caretakers are professional, licensed, bonded, and insured. So don't let the winter worry you. They'll give your house that lived-in look. That's My Winter Watchdog. Go to mywinterwatchdog.com or give them a call at 267-202-1869. That's 267-202-1869. Or send Debbie an email, debbie@mywinterwatchdog.com. All right, when we return, we'll continue with more here in the locker room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, and Brad Quast on 97.3 ESPN.
Ocean City's real estate market is red hot, and you need an agent that has
no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus, when the job is complete, we will send you a rebate check for up to 15% of the cost. No payments until 2023 and money back in your pocket? You can't beat this deal. Call us today to schedule your free consultation. 609-625-1900. That's 609-625-1900. You can also visit our website at eastcoastroofing.com for more information.
East Coast Roofing and Siding. Trust us with your family and home.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Brad Quast, Pete Thompson, 97.3 ESPN. Hey, guys, just to let you know, so here's some of the coaching accomplishments for Coach Gary Williams, and I'm so honored to have him on today. But he started at Woodrow Wilson High School coaching.
Yeah, Camden.
Camden, right?
Yep.
Lafayette assistant, Boston College assistant.
Okay.
Boston College head coach.
Yeah, talked about BC, and that's how he got close.
Ohio
with Jim
State.
Boeheim.
Buckeyes, okay.
Maryland.
Right.
All right.
Yep.
He's been to the Final Four twice, 2001, 2002. All right. Two-time ACC Coach of the Year. His career record is 668 wins, only 380 losses.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's got credentials, mad credentials. And we were
Collingswood High School grad.
We were talking about
Is he a Hall of Famer, too?
He's College Basketball Hall of Fame and Naismith Hall of Fame. And both in the same year in 2014.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got me thinking, Billy, and I was doing some research during the break, always a dangerous thing, but I found a list of the 100 greatest coaches in college basketball history.
Okay.
So I started going through, different names
And
that
we're
were
talking
on
about
there.
like legacy coaches, right? Coaches that have been.
This is just one person's list, but it's
Okay,
100,
all right.
but it got me thinking of names like, for example, at 100 is Brad Stevens, right? He was only in for 4 years, but Brad Stevens at Butler, which then led him, Larry Brown is on the list. There's names on the list.
Who's the top 5?
Okay, let me scroll down
I
here.
get top 5.
Yeah,
John Wooden.
Wooden.
Okay, give me
Okay,
a
go
second.
ahead.
I was
Go
trying
ahead.
to read
No,
like
just
some of these
guessing.
legacy names that people forget, like Dave Odom, or they forget Skip Prosser, or maybe you don't think about Pete Gillen. You used to hear Pete Gillen on the radio. Spoon, he's no longer with us. Charlie Spoonhour, who had been at St. Louis and Missouri State, and
So I don't
all
recognize
those.
that name.
If you're in the Midwest, I mean, while he was Clem Haskins, right, the Minnesota Golden Gophers, and Bobby Jackson, Dick Bennett, Wisconsin, right, Tex Winter created the triangle offense.
Tex Winter.
Phil Martelli's on the list.
Martelli.
Jay Wright's on the list. PJ Carlissimo, Mark Few, Paul Westhead. You remember that?
Yeah, we had him on the
How about Georgia Tech? Who's the coach you associate still with Georgia Tech?
Oh, when you say Georgia Tech, I think football.
No, in basketball,
I know.
Kenny Anderson, Final Four run.
Yeah.
Bobby Cremens, Thad Mona's on there.
Luke Horn is second.
Right, Fran Dunphy. All right, let me go down. I'm in the 60s. Let me go down to your top 10. All right. Who do you think is the number one coach on this list?
Probably John Wood.
Okay, that's
Wood.
number one. Who do you think is number 2? And hint, he's coaching today. Krzyzewski is number 2. All right, so there's your 1, there's your 2. How about number 3?
Dean Smith.
Let me pick up your chair and throw it at you.
Not Dean Smith.
Number 3. Let me pick
Gary
up.
Williams.
Let me pick up your chair and throw it across the court as
Bobby Knight.
Thank you. Number 4 is Dean Smith.
Okay.
Number 5 on the list. This is just one list, but number 5. Now, we mentioned historic basketball arenas. This guy coached one of the more historic teams of all time.
From Georgetown, no.
No. Top 5 coaches. You got to go old school here.
Drawing a blank.
Adolph Rupp.
Oh, Rupp.
Okay. Now, 6. Think Big East. Think Northeast. It's not that long since he's been out of this school, by the way.
Say it.
Jim Calhoun.
Jim Calhoun. Okay.
All right. Now, this guy coached in 2 legacy programs, played for Dean Smith in one legacy program, and coached in another one.
Oh man. See, I'm not up on the coaches.
Roy Williams. Played at North Carolina, coached at North Carolina, coached at Kansas. Jim Boeheim is 8. Now, I've never, ever in my life, I apologize, heard of Phil Wolpert. The San Francisco Dons, never heard of that guy. Or Claire B. Who's making this list? But Lefty Drizel, I've heard of. He's number 11.
I want to talk. Hey, I want to talk about Deshaun Watson signing for all that money.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that on the other side. But
it's funny. You're talking legacy names. Hank Iba, they named an arena after him.
I don't know half these coaches.
Do you know who Lute Olson was
I
for
remember
Arizona?
Arizona.
Do you remember my guy Eddie Sutton, who started his
Sutton.
career at Creighton, but actually,
Okay.
this is pretty high. Billy Donovan is all the way up to 15.
Really?
Yeah, because
Billy
of
Donovan?
he played
Florida,
and coached in the Final Four.
Yeah, Florida.
right?
Yep. Don Haskins. That's that. They made that movie out of him in
Is
'66.
Calipari on that list at all?
Haskins.
Yeah. It's 100 people
Well,
on the
just
list.
people.
But he's not in the top.
Here's a legacy coach, Denny Crum. Remember Denny
Crum.
Crum at
Louisville.
Right?
Yeah.
Another legacy coach, number
Bad
20 on
hairdo.
this list, is coaching today against Coach K. Michigan State is Coach
Izzo.
Tom Izzo.
Tom
correct.
Izzo. Okay.
We almost saw this guy coach at Boardwalk Hall, but they got unceremoniously bounced. That would be Rick Pitino.
No, right.
Right. He's on the list.
He's on the list. How about that? All right.
I'm going to take my towel over here, Billy, and I'm going to bite into it. Who am I?
Oh, that's
The shark.
The shark.
Jerry Tarkanian.
Tarkanian.
On the list.
Yeah.
That's a good one, Q.
So
By the
out
way,
there,
shark.
let's put this on the text message.
That's
board.
great.
If
All
you're out there, 609-403-0973, give us a legacy coach,
There you go.
legacy men's college basketball coach, and who your favorite was. Give us your town, first name and town. So, for example, you would be Billy from Collingswood,
Right.
and you would say
Luke Carnesecca.
Luke Carnesecca, St.
Yeah.
John's, right? Love the sweaters,
Yes.
Billy, right? 609-403-0973.
How about our on that list? John Chaney, our local guy.
He is on there.
Okay, what number is he?
Well,
What number is he?
I'm not 31.
Okay,
He's
that's not
31,
bad. Look at all
which
scoring.
isn't
Okay.
bad, all things considered.
not bad.
He's tucked right in between Edgar Diddle, whoever that is,
Okay.
and Norm Stewart. I remember Norm Stewart at Missouri
Okay.
or Missouri.
All right,
as
the
they would
second
say
hour,
it
of the
up.
locker, second
Missouri.
hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. You can play on their 18-hole championship golf course, enjoy fine dining, experience lively atmosphere in the pub. There's a full calendar of golf and social events throughout the season to appeal to everyone. For more information on how to become a member, book a wedding, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. When you get down there, say hello to Radio Ron Ralston for us. Friends, let me tell you about Maserati, the main line, located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations. I invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including the sporty Ghibli mid-size sedan and the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy of being called a Maserati. Maserati, the main line, also leads the nation in certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available on the market. Your experience is not end at the point of a sale, as Maserati, the main line, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at RDS Auto Group at 484-804-4800. That's 484-804-4800, or visit them online anytime at motml.com. All right, when we return, we'll talk a little football, a little NFL news. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Brad Quast, right here on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers basketball tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN.
is having fun taking care of his heart in all sorts of new ways.
Let's see those hips move, people.
Hurry and get your heart-shaped Cheerios. They're only here for a limited time.
Cold weather got you down? Forget the snow boots and pack your swimsuit. Atlantic City International Airport offers nonstop flights to Cancun. What are you waiting for? Book your flight today by visiting spirit.com.
All right, back here in the locker room, Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Brad Quast, 97.3 ESPN. A lot of football news going on. Big Devontae Adams goes to the Raiders. I was shocked about that, you guys, because
me too, because they just signed Aaron Rodgers.
What the heck's that all
But
about?
apparently Devontae Adams always wanted to play for the Raiders. Like, that's his dream team to go to. It's been unbelievable.
I think that it gets down to money.
Well, yeah, but
this kid gets down to money.
But if you're the quarterback, you want those, you want a receiver. You want somebody.
Yeah. I think in the negotiations with Aaron, they said, "Hey, we're going to bring all your weapons back."
Bring them all back, and then all of a sudden they trade.
So I think Aaron's a little pissed right now.
All right, and then Sean Watson. I got to be honest with you. I wasn't really I wasn't tickled pink about getting him. I certainly don't think he's worth all those picks that they gave up. Do you, Quast?
I just listen. We all make
we all make
mistakes,
right.
But if you read the reports and stuff like it's, I don't know. He's a tremendous football player.
Right. He's a tremendous football player, but is he worth $230 million? Is he worth 3 first rounds?
Guaranteed, by the way.
Yeah. Is he? I think on the field, are we talking on the field or off the field or the plus
the
stuff?
whole package.
The whole package? I don't know.
So
I don't know. That's
Pete,
a lot of money.
So Pete, like the Rams, they get Stafford.
Yeah.
They just signed him, by the way, to a king's ransom.
They did.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, he did something pretty good for him.
Yeah.
Right?
Good,
and that's been my favorite commercial during the NCAA tournament is where the girls like talking about how we're going to trade in the AT&T Lily from AT&T.
Yeah.
She does a whole thing where it's Stafford at the counter, and she's like, "We're going to let you trade in your old phone for a new phone." And he's like, "Oh, you mean like when you've been like in one place for a long time?" And he basically alludes to, that one's
it's cute.
Because I got to be honest with you, as soon as I go to commercial, I click to the other channel.
Yeah. Well, that's why there's 4 channels.
Yeah.
I mean, there's another great one with Krzyzewski where he's he's sitting down with Lily and he's talking about, and she's like, "Well, do you have any experience? I see here you said you've been a leader of teams. Do you have any experience actually in the phone industry?" And he's like, "Well, but I've led a lot of young men over the years, And then he says, "But I'm going to need the month of March off." And she goes, "The entire month," And then she says something like, "Oh, we'll get back to you." It's like, you'll get back to me. Like, what the hell? I'm Coach K.
Well, but here's the thing about it. So the Rams give up a lot to get Stafford, right?
Yep.
And they get rid of their drafts for the future, right?
Future. Oh, they were all in.
Cash in. They win because Cleveland isn't a bad team. I mean, they got a good defense. They've got. Remember,
they're taking the blueprint from the Rams.
That's right.
That's what they're doing.
They're
we're all in with the quarterback.
They want it now.
Their defense is great. They have all the pieces in place. They're looking for the quarterback. They're all in.
And
So that's what they did.
So
that's what they did.
It could work, but if it backfires, then they don't win it.
Did you catch the move last night that Tennessee is getting Robert Woods from the Rams? Now, when he's healthy, Robert Woods changes the field, and not for nothing, but the Eagles were in on that move, but they were reportedly in on discussions to get him. But unfortunately, and he is coming off a torn ACL, but when he's healthy, I think Robert Woods is as good as anybody.
No, he's a good player, and he'll recover from that ACL.
All
it's
right,
not a big deal.
I want to talk about the Eagles, Q, with you as far as getting Hassan Reddick. I think obviously he's got 20. He's 27 years old. He's had 23.5 sacks in the last 2 seasons. He's a Sam linebacker. I asked you during the break, is he too small? What do you make?
Well, so you have Sam, Will, and Mike, right? In a 4-3 scheme, which they run. So Sam is Sam over the tight end.
Right.
Usually that position is 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", because of the tight ends and so athletic and so tall this out.
But they got to be able to run with the tight end.
They got to be able to run with the tight end. Will is your guy that's going to be dropping more your athlete. He's that kind of a hybrid defensive back.
He's the guy is he the guy? Oh, he's a hybrid defensive back.
So I can see them putting him, not playing Sam,
put him on the other side.
Mike playing more of a Mike inside the box.
And Pete, I said to you, you said, I said, is he an every down linebacker? And what did you say to me?
I said that you don't need to run stuff for linebackers anymore. That's not the way the league is designed. You need a guy that can rush the passer, and he can certainly do that. And then you also need a guy, he's got 23 and a half sacks, Billy, in the last 2 seasons. I mean, that's what they signed him for.
Then how about this as a philosophy? While everybody's loading up on guys that can cover linebackers that are on pin their ears back and go downhill. Why don't you get a nice fullback, a nice running back, and just change your whole dynamic of your team and just run the ball down their throat?
He's going retro.
Old school.
Old is new again.
Like 3 yards in a cloud of dust. It's just the way I agree with you, and I wish that was the way that they do it. It's all personnel, 22 personnel, 2 tight ends, 2 running backs. That's just not the way of the world, I guess.
But wouldn't that be something if what's old is new?
Yeah. What's old? I mean, listen, I think the teams that ran the ball last year were teams that were effective, that were able to run the football and run it well. There's a reason that Tennessee had such great success. They were able, and I will say this, Q, I think that the league is, because they've gone so vertical, because they've gone so aerial, that defenses aren't built anymore to stop the run. So if you get anybody with marginal talent, they all of a sudden better than average talent. Look, I mean, the Eagles brought back Boston Scott, for God's sakes. There's a reason they brought back a guy like that, because he has better than average talent. As far as Hassan Reddick goes, Gil and I were at the draft. That draft was in Philadelphia.
I was there.
And he went 2 picks before the Eagles picked, or maybe it was 2 picks. Either way, it was within a couple picks of the Eagles taking Derek Barnett. And I remember thinking oh man, maybe the Eagles are going to take Hassan Reddick, the Temple kid. This would be great. And he has had experience, by the way, dropping back into coverage. The first 3 years, he was an off-ball linebacker. So it's not like this is totally crazy and out of left field if they ask him to go into coverage. The difference is that he really found his niche, because remember, he started with the Cardinals, but at that point, they didn't really know how to use him. Yeah. Once teams figured out how to use Hassan Reddick, and that is more as a pass rusher than as a drop back on the pass defender, the sky's been the limit. So
he's going to be able to play multiple. He's going to be able to rush and, like you say, off the ball.
Another question for you, Q. Yeah, Fletcher Cox. They release him. They save $18 million or whatever it is. 36 hours later, they re-sign him. Now, if you're Fletcher Cox, Q, as a former player, aren't you going to, since they raised you, aren't you going to test the free agent market and see if you're saying nobody wanted Fletcher Cox?
No, here's
what they brought him back for?
Yeah, here's why. Because he's comfortable here. He's got a house in Mullica Hill.
Yeah, but isn't show me the money?
No, guess what? He has his money. He's got his money. Yeah. He's got a family in place. Right. He's already established. He had to clear waivers, test the market. It'd have to be an unbelievable deal.
But 36 hours. I mean, is there obviously what do you have?
Well, they were
3.5 sacks this year.
Yeah, but you got to clear waivers, and his agent's got to see if anybody else wanted him, and probably
there wasn't that much.
There probably wasn't offers. Wasn't
wild.
He goes back to his wife. Well, they go,
doesn't that worry that there's no interest in
him? But they got him. The Eagles got him at the Eagles' price.
Right.
So,
exactly. He was due $18 million. So they brought him back around $14 million. So then they save about $2 million in cap space.
So it's a win-win for both parties.
This isn't baseball with the luxury tax.
It's a 1-year deal.
It's a 1-year deal. So he comes back another year. He makes some money and helps out the Eagles. So it's a good deal for both sides.
All right, you guys. So there's a picture in my newspaper.
Let's see. What do you got?
Of Carson Wentz.
Leading
the meeting down there at the Washington Commander. He's a commander.
And look at the colors. Look at the colors.
Look at the way he's dressed.
He wore like burgundy and gold.
And he says, the caption is, it's going to be weird to return to the link. Q as a player. Now, obviously, Hassan Reddick.
Do they boo him when he comes
out? No, he's going to get booed.
Absolutely. Not to the Ben Simmons level, but absolutely.
But he is villain number 1A, right? What you say, Ben Simmons is 1. Wentz is 1A.
Yeah, he's
in
there.
When he goes back, but do the players on the team, they're going to try to a little extra motivation to play him out, give him a shot?
So,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
Listen, it's all business.
You never want to go out and harm anybody. You guys okay. You never want to take somebody's livelihood away from them. But you know who you're playing that week?
Right.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Right.
So there's a little.
Not only the fans are going to get on.
Yeah,
the players got to have some.
Yeah, but listen, Carson's a good man. And he had some good phrase there.
Is he a good locker room guy? We don't know.
Well, I don't think he's good.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that
A
say
lot
he's
of
not a
people
good
say he's
locker
not a
room
good
guy.
locker room
So
because
maybe that gives the players extra motivation. Q.
Yeah, I think there'll be a little extra motivation.
Do they still throw eggs at the visitors' bus? I mean, that's the way they used to do it back in
There'll be a little motivation with that, but
Anthony Harris coming back too, by the way. Anthony Harris and Boston Scott, and then Hassan Reddick.
Which,
and they restructured Slay's contract too. That was another thing.
All right, so Dombrowski, Howie Roseman, Fletcher, Daryl
Cliff
Morey,
Chuck Fletcher. Sorry,
what did I say? Fletcher. Chuck Fletcher. What GM is doing the best job right now? Just would you say
I would.
I'm gonna have to lean toward Dombrowski because he got both Kyle Schwarber and Castellanos.
But we lost two. We lost two villains. Q. We lost Ben Simmons. We got rid of Ben Simmons, and and Carson Wentz, and then we get Harden, and now we get Reddick, and we get
I'd have to go. Yeah, I'd 76ers right now.
I mean,
I think still 76ers.
Philly, if this is your lineup, Schwarber, Segura, Harper, Castellanos, Real Muto, Hoskins, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, at least the top 5. Okay. If the top 5 can deliver the way that they have in the past, that's a pretty good lineup.
You got 5 guys that potentially can hit 30 home runs.
That's correct.
Potentially.
Especially at Citizens Bank Park.
Exactly. That part.
Right,
potentially. So listen, I hope the Phillies do. Like I really want. I want the organization to do better, and I want people to come out again and baseball. This is a Phillies town still.
So
really
you're worried. Did you give me a GM?
I went with Dombrowski, but then you accurately pointed out to me that the Sixers and Daryl Morey were able to acquire get rid of the problem and get James Harden.
Got Harden.
So.
I think
that's tough. That's a 1-1.
And by the way, Howie Roseman just restructured his deal, or just got an extension.
That's true. He's not going back to the broom closet anytime soon.
I think we got to wait. That question should be brought up after.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, but I just said now. Currently. All right. Second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. There's a full calendar of golf and social events throughout the season to appeal to everyone. For more information on how to become a member, book a wedding, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. Just about everybody in our area has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine run by ex-Philadelphia tight end Ken Dunnick. But were you aware of their private business network they call the Legacy Club? Every month, they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia and South Jersey to attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and see if it's fit for your business, send an email to ken@jerseymanmagazine.com or give them a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. And Q, that's where I met Jim Ziris from Tropicana.
Yeah, right.
So you go to the Jersey Man function and you make great connections.
And
how about Jim?
It's a who's who.
Is he a sweetheart or what? He's
the
greatest
he's the best.
guy. He big smile on his face, and he took care of us. That's
He took really good care of me.
All
Yep,
right.
a nice hotel room. It's good. Nice.
All right, when we return, we'll wrap it up. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Brad Quast, right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Drive to the rim, floater good. It's March Madness on 90.
/terms.
Tyndall Auto Plaza has the area's largest selection of pre-owned vehicles of all makes and models, with over 170 pre-owned vehicles on their huge 100-acre lot. Everything from sporty coupes to SUVs to trucks. Tyndall offers the area's best buying experience, easy and hassle-free, with 60 years of customer satisfaction and community service. Discover why Tyndall customers are so loyal. Shop for your next pre-owned vehicle at Tyndall Auto Plaza, exit 10 of the Parkway, Stone Harbor Boulevard, or online at KyndallAutoplaza.com.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Brad.
Sorry,
Quast.
struggling over here.
Right. Hey, Pete, we got a text message or two there.
We do. Dan from EHT. Thank you to Dan, loyal listener. He says, "Listen, guys, I'm not worried about the Phillies' defense. I think it's overblown. I think last year was contagious with the leather, just like hitting is contagious. Fielding can be that way also. They need to have good defense be contagious this year." Says Dan from EHT.
Yeah, we love Dan.
Dan always a big
show. Yeah,
very loyal.
And John Clayton passed.
It's a shame.
Sad note. John Clayton. Was he sick, Pete?
A brief illness is all the family said. He was 67 years old. He was on with Gil a lot.
Young.
You know.
Did you know him, Q?
I met him. I had the chance to meet him. Yeah,
you know him, right?
I met him. Yeah.
I got to interact with him at the Eagles once or twice. There was one time when we were sitting in the post-game interview room, and we were waiting for, I think, Andy Reid at the time to come in.
Time's yours.
And before Andy Reid came in, Clayton had said to somebody like, "Hey, I'm trying to get to the airport, and what's the best way to get out of here?" And I basically gave him like a whole list of, if you turn here and you do this, but act like you're going away from the airport, but then double back and turn around and don't take this because you're going to get in this. Da-da-da. And his eyes got real big and he said,
"Just drive."
Thanks.
Yeah.
You appreciate, like, in fact, I think what I told him to do was don't even get on 95. I told him to go down by FDR Park and then go over the Platte Bridge, which is that little hidden gem that people don't think about.
Yeah, I used to take that every day when I went to U.S. Airways.
But yeah, he was an unbelievable
couple
insider
big games
reporter.
today. Villanova at 2:40 against Ohio State, number 2 versus number 7. Then later on, Duke, Michigan State, another number 2.
Two great programs. Programs.
I want Duke and of course Nova, and I'm 13th in our bracket.
For now.
Where you stand, Pete?
I was like way down there, like 35th or something, but I'm ahead of Gil, so I'm happy.
You got your Final Four.
Yeah,
your Final Four.
He has all of his Final Four. I don't, because I picked Iowa. It's your fault.
Gonzaga. I got Gonzaga. Here's my Final Four.
Okay, all right.
Gonzaga, UCLA, Arizona, and Auburn, and I have Auburn winning it against Gonzaga.
Hey, Brad, it's 6-10. Who are you rooting for? Number 11, Iowa State, or number 3, Wisconsin?
The Cyclones? You hate Iowa State.
I hate Iowa State.
Really?
Yeah.
I kind of knew where he was going to go with that.
Yeah, I hate Iowa. And then my buddy Barry, he retired. Barry Alvarez used to be the athletic director there.
Nebraska.
Yeah.
Gosh, the show's over already, Pete.
Billy, show's over already.
Quick.
Brad, what happened, man?
I don't know.
We just started.
That's right. Just like that.
I'm going to,
Phillies baseball, Flyers hockey, Sixers basketball, NCAA tournament.
Go grab lunch, and I'm going to go maybe play golf.
Play golf with your son. What are you doing today, Pete?
I am going to hit up the Mart of Wall. That's on my list, on the honeydew list.
Okay, all right.
And then I'm going to go home and start watching some college
I got the
basketball.
Doopy-Doo later on today. Elijah Grace is back over to the
I'll watch the first period of the Flyers, then I'll put on the college basketball.
I took your advice. I'm going to take your advice.
I appreciate that. See, you do listen.
Thanks to Pete Thompson, Brad Quast, of course. Gary Williams was a
great guest. That was a great guest.
Thanks for making the locker room part of your Sunday, because nothing could be finer than talking sports with the Schweiner guys. I'll see you next week.
See ya.
Have
See ya,
a great weekend, everybody. The rest of it.
Buzzer beaters and bracketologists, leprechauns and green beer. One more nor'easter snowstorm. You know they're going to happen in March. You just don't know when.
Oh, yeah, it's on.